Hi friends, so today is a follow-up of the last video that I had posted about how the ultra-liberal left and the weak right are joining together to basically destroy the United States. There were some comments of people who were confused and just didn't understand what I was saying. So I wanted to provide some clarity and some context. I don't understand how you cannot understand. So this video is a part 2 and a follow-up, so be sure to follow along. So before officially starting this video, I wanted to interject one thing biblically, speaking about the Roman Empire in this video, but also going from a little further back than that. So if you're a Christian and you read the scripture, you know that Daniel was in the captivity. I'm just going to breeze through this. I can go dive deeper into another video about this whole topic, but Daniel lived in captivity. He was a Jew, and his country was captive. And during that time, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, old name for Iraq, captured them. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, or vision, I should say, about this image, metallic man. I'm going to insert a picture here. Okay, so this picture is kind of what I would consider a kingdom calendar or a government calendar to kind of show the time period in relation to Israel during that time. Okay, I just want to express that now that things are done in regards to Israel, meaning that Christ came, salvation is open to everyone. This calendar has kind of spread abroad to everybody. It's kind of a global thing. So as of right now, head of gold is Babylon. I'm not going to talk about the other metals, but right now, after the Roman Empire, during the Roman Empire, which would be like towards the knees area, is when Christ came. We are currently down at the feet. Okay? This is the end of all empires, all governments, all things. So I wanted to put that in perspective when I am speaking to you in this video. I wanted to throw that out there. We'll probably do another video on this explaining even the metals and all the things, but I want to show you that even though in this video I'm expressing that we need to get involved and do things, there's also another part of me that's wanting to say that there's actually no helping. There's actually no helping the United States. There's actually no helping even the world in general. We are at the feet. We are at the very end of all things, all kingdoms, all governments ruling. And it's going to be a time set up where Christ is going to be ruling over all. When God's kingdom comes here, there'll be no more of the things that I'm going to be talking about in the rest of this video. So just to kind of give you a glimpse of future videos and a calendar glimpse of where we are in our time period, that it's basically we're at the end. And that's why you can see that, like the Roman Empire, the United States, correlation, same thing, over with. Actually, not just even the United States, it's just all countries in general. So I wanted to interject that in first so that you can see that, and then we'll proceed with this video. So I'm going to open this video up with a little bit of a different perspective. So I mentioned that both the left and the right, especially the weak right that just sit idly by, don't do anything, they're a pincushion, they're just watching their country crumble before their eyes, both financially, socially, morally, everything that you can possibly think of. They're just sitting idly by. While the left, who is just so destructive, want everything and anything immoral and pushing more taxes and all the things on us, they're also contributing to the fall of the United States. So I want to put this in comparison to the Roman Empire, and I wanted to talk about how they also fell and to give you some historical context, because I believe that if we don't know our history, we are bound to repeat it. So I want to talk a little bit about the Roman Empire and how they fell, and you can see the correlation. And then I'm going to end this video with a statement from a very wise Frenchman. So with that being said, okay, so there are some key things that we can learn from the Roman Empire, how they fell. And I have some notes here that I can read off to you, and then we can dive deeper into each one. So the Roman Empire fell due to a combination of intertwined internal and external factors, including political instability from frequent civil wars and succession crisis. Okay, so all these wars, they were getting into a lot of wars. Sound familiar? It seems like the United States is always getting into some sort of conflict. I mentioned this in my last video. We are now getting ready to head into another conflict with another nation. It's no need for that. And it's looking like no matter who we vote into office, we're still getting a war-pushing candidate, no matter if it's a Republican or no matter if it's a Democrat or even independent. It seems like someone is always pushing towards war. These candidates are bought and paid for by a lot of foreign entities. We won't go into that because people will start name calling and they don't like to know the truth. But there seems to be someone else controlling people that we vote in. So in essence, it almost seems like it's no reason to even vote for the president because they're all run by the same foreign entities. So we keep getting into the same thing with lots and lots of wars. No need for that. If you have not read War's a Racket by a highly decorated military man, I mentioned him over and over again, Smedley Butler, you need to get your hands onto that book. Read it. It's a very short book. It will break down even the finances that were done back in the 40s, 30s, way back then, how things were, how much money that the military industrial complex received just from being in war. Okay, so this is another thing that the Roman Empire had to deal with or dealt with, or that contributed to their fall. Getting into wars. Specifically, this was civil wars, but also getting into wars with other people, other countries. A severe economic crisis caused by inflation. Okay, so they had inflation as well. Sound familiar? We have lots and lots of inflation. We are currently in trillions of dollars of debt. I think it's like $34 trillion, maybe even $35 trillion as we're counting if you look at the debt clock. So we are in economic shambles. Our dollar, I just checked, it has decreased by 10% even in the last month. It is worth less than what we pay for it. So you're looking around, why do eggs cost so much? Why is bread so much? Why is beef so much? Okay, it's not because those items are scarce. It's because our dollar is devalued. Okay, so that is something that you need to put in mind. Correlation, Roman Empire, and the United States. Inflation, devaluing of their dollar or their currency. Heavy taxation, oh my, lots and lots of taxation. Way back then they had taxation, heavily taxing people. Now we have property taxes to add on top of that. I continue to talk about eliminating property taxes. I have another video of that coming up very soon. Governor DeSantis and the CFO that he has put in charge, Blaise Angola, has exposed lots and lots of counties here in the state of Florida that have been excessive spending and wasting upwards to over $500,000. So lots and lots and lots of money. Actually, more than $500,000. It's probably more like hundreds of millions of dollars, I think it is. It's more like hundreds of millions of dollars. So lots of waste in property taxes. And then you try to get people on board. They're like, well, what about the roads? What about this? What about that? It's like, can't you see we're being overtaxed? Everything is going to be taken care of. We're going to have roads. We're going to be able to drive. Okay, so overtaxation, income tax. Look at that. We're being taxed through that way. So that's another thing that we need to think of. If we're going to have income tax, we shouldn't have tariffs. One took the place of the other. So these are just different things that you can see that happened to the Roman Empire that is also happening to us. I can keep going on. We can also talk about labor shortages that also affected the Roman Empire. They also had people that weren't able to work. Look at our unemployment rate. It is going up for adults that are between 30 and 40 years old, the highest record that it has been in previous years. So not only do we have a crisis over in our finances, we're being taxed to death, we're also not able to work to pay our taxes, and then also we're getting in foreign wars. Just like the Roman Empire. You can see the footsteps. Okay, so there's so many other things that I can keep saying. There's a couple more things that I can go on, but there's a lot more here. So another one that you can see was invasions. Invasions had affected the Roman Empire drastically. As you could see over the last, I don't know how long, our borders were flooded with people who are not citizens here, who are not born here, who are illegally trespassing, coming here not the right way. It's one thing if you have a visa or you're coming here to work and you're allowed to work and you have some sort of paper statement that you're able to be here for a certain period of time, but just to cross the border and to take on the benefits of the Americans and not contribute or do anything of that sort, okay, then we have an issue here. There's nothing wrong with legally immigrating, but when you have an invasion like we had in the previous years where people just flooding in from all different areas, invading, those people don't have the American interest in here, obviously not. So you can actually see the same thing with the Roman Empire. You can see the Roman Empire, they had barbarians invading their borders and they had to consistently try to keep that out, but they to no avail. So the same thing with the United States. So these are the things that I'm talking about. And one other thing, the last thing that I'm going to touch on, they also were very deviant. Rome became very deviant. They had orgies. They had a lot of other very not good behavior that I'm not going to speak about. And we can also see that here in the United States. So some people are like, well, what does that have to do with our finances? Well, all of that contributes. All of those behaviors contribute to your society. When society is bad, society goes down, you can see it affects every single thing. So it caused the collapse of the Roman Empire. I don't see how you cannot see that to the person or people who had commented and who were so confused that when you have bad behavior, people have bad behavior, it affects your environment. You also see people tearing down statues so crazily and saying that they are standing up and protesting. It's one thing to protest peacefully and assemble peacefully and make your voice heard, but it's another thing when you're rioting and destroying and being destructive and pillaging and going into Apple stores and breaking windows. That's not protesting. What are you protesting for Apple? What is Apple doing? Okay, so these are the things that I am referring to, that our society is gone downhill. You can see the correlation with the Roman Empire in our country today. So I want to express that to you all and just bring out those tips for you to see. So hopefully that helps, brought some clarity, enlighten your eyes a little bit more, and then also maybe startled you and said, you know what? I needed to get off of my hands. Like I always consistently say, this channel is all about educating ourselves, getting involved, knowing what we're up against, seeing things, because we're consistently being gaslit, saying, oh no, you're wrong, you're the R word, or you're terrible, you're wanting to do this, you hate people, blah, blah, blah. When really you just want quiet, peace and quiet, civilized society, people doing good, our government not ripping us off, not going to other countries and bombing their countries and hurting small children, starving and getting into locking arms with other foreign entities, other foreign governors or governments that are starving small children and hurting other people, and then saying, oh, we have a crisis in the climate where things are happening, when they're actually the ones contributing to the environment being harmed by having these explosives and harming other people's lands. So I wanted to express that. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. If it was, if you want to share this video with someone who needs their eyes open, please do share. So thank you all for being here. See you all in the next video. I'll be talking some more good stuff. Stay tuned. I have some video series that I'm going to be working on. I left you guys on a cliffhanger about future governor candidates that are running in Florida next year. I want to dive deeper into that, to get ahead of it, to know who, what, how, all the things. So I will have a series out pretty soon. Stay tuned for that. In the meantime, subscribe, share all the things. And thank you for being here.